Twisters, directed by Lee Isaac Chung, whose previous film was 2020's Minari, is a sequel to the 1996 disaster flick starring Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. Following a devastating tornado that took the lives of her friends and partner 5 years previously, this soft reboot sequel follows storm chaser Kate Carter as she is enticed to return to her old passion. Convinced by the only other surviving member of that ill-fated expedition with the offer to test some groundbreaking new equipment, Kate sets off for Oklahoma in the height of storm season. Upon arrival, Kate is bemused by the presence of YouTube sensation Tyler Owens, whose rough and rowdy ways clash with her methodical methods. Friendly competition ensues as the storms worsen and the two bond over a shared love of the raw power of Mother Nature. Making up the cast of this meteorological disaster movie is Daisy Edgar-Jones as Kate Carter, a gifted meteorologist whose novel method for dispelling tornadoes holds promise for the thousands under threat from their destructive power. Anthony Ramos as Yavi, an old friend whose new business venture convinces Kate to exit early retirement, and Glen Powell as Tyler Owens, a lovable rogue with a heart of gold who lives for the thrill of the chase. Director Lee Isaac Chung definitely got the memo on how to craft a satisfying disaster film, as each set piece expertly ratchets up the tension by increasing the threat level without ever slipping into absurdity. Whether it's the torrential rain hammering against the vehicles or the roaring wind threatening to tip them over, you never question whether the characters are truly in danger. Chung also does a fantastic job at introducing the wide array of side characters without leaving the audience feeling overwhelmed. Each one, regardless of screen time, has a necessary role and all have unique character quirks that help the viewer distinguish between them, meaning no time is wasted in trying to recall who's who. The actors do an admirable job at endearing themselves to the audience. Both Kate, as the highly strung scientist type, and Tyler, as the self-assured all-American, could have descended into annoying caricature if not for the charismatic performances of the two leads. Furthermore, their contrasting portrayals ensure the audience never grows tired of either one. You root for their survival rather than hoping for a satisfying demise or, worse still, not caring enough what fate befalls them. In all, Lee Isaac Chung's genre-appropriate direction and Edgar-Jones and Powell's charming performances make for an entertaining entry into the disaster movie domain. Like any modern-day disaster movie, Twisters is an effects-heavy affair. Though the computer-generated imagery is persuasive enough to convince the audience that the characters are in danger from Mother Nature and not a motherboard. That's not to say that the CGI is unnoticeable in the film, just that its necessary inclusion is not necessarily obtrusive. The audience will certainly forgive the filmmakers for not managing to wrangle a real tornado onto set, as the generated alternative is perfectly passable. Speaking of the set designers do an effective job here at selling the destructive nature of Mother Nature. In scenes reminiscent of real-life disasters, the realistically rendered devastation left in the tornado's wake helps to convey the threat they pose without over-reliance on exposition. Though the issues of the film are few, where they do arise is from the premise itself. If you are a veteran of disaster flicks, then there will be little to surprise you in this faithful approach to the genre. All the hallmarks are here, from the reticent hero who's encouraged out of retirement, to the douchebag character whose only purpose is to provide a satisfying on-screen death, to the shady businessman who wants to profit from the disaster. The film never strays far from the familiar formula. Unfortunately, this means that there are few shocks in store for the audience. One smaller issue is with the film's script. Though clearly defining your character's morals is no bad thing, here the screenwriters may as well signpost their integrity. Despite the daily tornado presence, the suspiciously absent emergency services mean our leads constantly race to save the helpless townspeople. This is no major concern, only that at times it leads to cliched action movie dialogue and heavy-handed revelations. It also brings into question why no one ever seems aware a storm is approaching until they need saving. In all, Twisters is a thoroughly enjoyable disaster movie that knows exactly what it needs to accomplish in its 2-hour runtime. Lee Isaac Chung's direction achieves its ambitions, and the performances of the two leads ooze with enough charisma to endear them to the audience. Though it can be argued that the film sticks too closely to the conventions of the genre, the computer-generated imagery and realistic set design make for a visually appealing entry. Overall, Twisters realizes its goal of entertaining its audience, and it's hard not to leave with a smile on your face once the credits roll. If you go into Twisters expecting anything more than what's advertised, then you're going to be disappointed. This is a formulaic entry into the disaster movie domain. However, if you're going in, like the creators of the film, knowing and appreciating what makes a disaster movie click, then you will be thoroughly entertained by what's on offer here. Twisters is a fun-filled summer blockbuster with lots of tension, plenty of laughs, and oodles of charisma. If you've seen Twisters, please comment below and let me know what you thought of the film. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to help this channel grow.